Okay, Patrick, we're on a roll. We've shown fraud from the beginning of these loans, the targeting of vulnerable people who sign on to these loans, or even the straw and phony loans that were made, the fabrication of asset and income information so the loans could go through, the pocketing of the money up front from the brokers, from the CEOs of these mortgage banks that just sold the loans out there, and then the insurance company, AIG, that promised people that they would pay them for their losses, and yet there wasn't anything to pay them with because they'd stuck all the money in their pockets. And the United States government paid AIG with the excuse that, oh, geez, these people that are suffering these losses, if they go down, our whole economy goes down. These are what they called the too big to fail banks. What they meant by that is we can't allow them to fail because it's going to destroy our economy. Okay, we've covered all that. There's so many stages of clear fraud here. Let's talk about the rating of these loans. There are three major rating agencies, correct?
Yeah.
There's Moody's, there's Fitch, and Standard & Poor's.
That's correct.
And were they asked to rank these mortgage loans in terms of the likelihood that the borrowers would pay off the loans?
Yes, again, this is exactly, we all expect our system to operate with integrity, right? So that we have stopgaps with professionals that make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. Now, the rating agencies act as underwriters to make sure that everything that they're telling investors are actually what they understand and know. Because this thing got so crazy and out of whack because of how much money was being paid into the system, literally the credit rating agencies that the entire system depends on to do its job with the utmost professionalism, literally just like the underwriters at the bottom, were approving the loans, not sight unseen. They didn't bother looking at what these loans were actually made up of.
So if there was a package of loans, would they take samples of those loans and go out and see were they well covered by assets with income, equity in the properties? Did they do that?
Here's the craziest thing.
No, did they do that?
No, they didn't. But they did. But I got to tell you this just really quickly because not a lot of people understand this. Okay, so early in the game, they actually did. In 2004, they actually created a public report that stuff was going to blow up. And guess who was paying attention?
I don't know.
Did you ever see the movie The Big Short?
Yeah,
it was the hedge funds were paying attention.
Of
Nobody knows this, not even Michael Lewis and Adam McKay, who made the movie. Literally, the rating agencies warned people at first based on people that are in the con because of the whistleblowers we have. But ultimately, then everybody ignored it, and it went on overdrive. And then once they started getting paid more volume and more volume, everybody stepped aside and just let everything get through the system.
So is there an incentive there for these rating agencies?
Absolutely. Just like everything else.
Rate absolute junk, toxic loans as AAA so that other people, institutions like pension funds would invest in these instruments?
The only way the pension funds could invest in these investments were if they were rated AAA by the rating agencies.
So the rating agencies, they knew if they wouldn't rate these securities, derivatives, with a high rating so that they could be sold, that those who hired them would go to another rating agency. Is that right?
That too. That's what they claim. That's right. Everybody was in on it. Yes, exactly. Everybody got paid to look the other way. That's the idea. And they did that until they blew up the world.
So is that sort of like the appraisers that come in and appraise a home for a mortgage?
Not sort of like, exactly.
And if they don't come in with an appraisal high enough,
that's right,
then the real estate agent or the mortgage company will go get another appraiser so that they will boost.
That's right.
Fraudulently boost the value of the home?
This is what we call Gresham's dynamic. It's when bad ethics drives good ethics out of the marketplace, or lies and deception become the way people make money. Yes, absolutely. They got paid to do it, and if they didn't play ball, they didn't get paid.
Was there criminal accountability for these rating agencies that were rating these toxic derivatives as AAA so that the pension funds, upon which all these working people had contributed and were counting on for their retirement, so that they would buy them?
No, we had a president of the United States at the time, Barack Obama, go on 60 Minutes and say that although all the stuff that happened by Wall Street might have been unethical, it wasn't illegal. Meanwhile, we've just demonstrated every step of the way it was a criminal action.
And is there general agreement among people who know what was going on that there was vast criminality for which these people were never held to account?
Everybody on the inside knew it then, and they know it now. And now a lot of people are pretending like they knew what happened. Nobody understands what happened. Every step of the way was a criminal enterprise incentivized by what the CEOs made sure that everybody played ball. And if they didn't, they got kicked out of the system.
Let me ask you, were there any other countries that tried, convicted, and imprisoned their bankers for engaging in conduct like this?
Actually, there was one, and there was kind of two. One was Iceland. And Iceland, by the way, got in the entirety of how they ended up prosecuting the bankers that blew up their entire culture. One, they demanded it. There was a critical mass that came out in Iceland, similar to what happened with Occupy Wall Street, but more intense, much smaller population. They demanded accountability, and they got the ways and means to be able to do that from the ultimate consultant and my mentor in our project, The Con, a gentleman by the name of William K. Black.
All right. So we've got just a few more segments, and the last segment is going to be, what do we do about all this? Now that our awareness is raised, now that we're, I mean, if we haven't been upset since 2008, we just weren't paying attention. But there's plenty to be angry about. There's plenty to be worried about. What are the solutions? We're going to be talking about those, and there are solutions, and the interests of the public in this country can be served by our government if we make our government do it, rather than serving the interests of their campaign contributors.